A very good afternoon to you. This is TV Sapienza on Star Times Channel 260. Today is Thursday, the 24th of July, 2025. My name is Joe Igbo. In our news headlines this afternoon, the federal government has announced the release of the results of this year's National Common Entrance Examination, NCEE, for admission into the Junior Secondary School or JSS1 of Federal Unity Colleges. Governor Peter Mbah of Enugu State has reshuffled his cabinet and appointed 6 new commissioners. The Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, Shehu Mohammed, has vowed to deal with any officer involved in bribery, corruption, negligence, consumption of illicit drugs, or incivility towards road users. And the Senate has officially received 4 lawmakers who had defected from the opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC. Now, the details of the news. The federal government has announced the release of the results of this year's National Common Entrance Examination, NCEE, for admission into the Junior Secondary School or JSS1 of Federal Unity Colleges, conducted by the National Examination Council, NECO. The government also released the results of the separate entrance examination conducted for admission into the Federal Government Academy or FGA in Suleja, Niger State. The examination was conducted on June 14. It recorded 64,578 registered candidates, 61,290 sitting, and 3,288 absent. The Minister of State for Education, Professor Suwaiba Ahmad, announced the results of the release of the results yesterday at a media briefing in Abuja in the company of the NECO Registrar, Professor Ibrahim Wushishi, who officially presented the results to the minister at the event. Ahmad said that out of the maximum obtainable score of 210, 13 candidates obtained the highest score of 202, while 27 candidates obtained the lowest score of 1. She said 52 candidates, 2 candidates from Lagos State and 50 from Rivers State, were involved in examination malpractice. The Anambra State government has arrested 5 illegal revenue collectors at Nkwelle-Ezunaka, local government area of the state. Parading the suspects in Oka, the Anambra State Internal Revenue Service Commander of Operations Against Illegal Revenue Collections, Mr. Nathan Obikwelu, explained that the suspects were arrested collecting money from motorists along Enugu-Onitsha Expressway. 2 of the suspects, Chinedu Nnakwuzie and the other suspect, who gave his name as Emmanuel, denied collecting revenue from anybody. Rather, we are directing human and vehicular movements along the road. The Bayelsa State Police Command has arrested the abductors of a judge of the State High Court, Justice Ebiyerin Omukoro. Justice Omukoro was kidnapped on June 21 in Enugu and held for 12 days before he was rescued through the joint efforts of security agencies in the state. Governor Doediri announced the arrest yesterday at the State Executive Council meeting at the Government House, Enugu, while honoring an officer, Superintendent of Police, Semtome Obi, who had rejected a $17,000 bribe offered by a suspect involved in organ harvesting. The Bayelsa State Governor said everyone involved in the kidnap had been picked by the police except the gang leader, who was still on the run. He restated his warning to criminally minded individuals to stay clear of Bayelsa State and stressed his administration's commitment to its zero-tolerance policy for crime and criminality. He said the government of Bayelsa State had improved the security architecture with the acquisition of drones for the police to fight crime, in addition to the installation of CCTV cameras in different parts of the state capital, Enugu. Governor Peter Mbah of Enugu State has reshuffled his cabinet, inaugurated a new head of service, 6 new commissioners, and reassigned 3 others. Mbah also assigned portfolios to the new appointees following the administration of oath of office on them by a representative of the Ministry of Justice, Chizoba Obodo, at the Government House, Enugu, yesterday. The newly sworn-in appointees included Godwin Anibo, Head of Service, Benjamin Oko, Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure, Professor Bernadette Okoli, Commissioner for Human Development and Poverty Eradication, and Enyinna Obonna, Commissioner for Energy and Mineral Resources. Others are Dr. Samuel Obu-Nwobodo, Commissioner for Trade, Investment and Industry, Professor George Ugu, Commissioner for Health, and Ben Collins Ndo Jr., who was designated as the Commissioner for Water Resources. Dr. Felix Nnamani was reassigned from the Ministry of Water Resources to the Ministry of Labor and Employment as Commissioner, and Dr. Malaki Abo was reassigned from the Ministry of Human Development and Poverty Eradication to the Ministry of Information. The former Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure, Mr. Gerald Otiji, was reassigned as the Commissioner for Housing. Speaking at the swearing-in ceremony, Governor Mbah charged the appointees to hit the ground running, stressing that there will be no honeymoon period for them. The Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, Shehu Mohammed, has vowed to deal with any officer involved in bribery, corruption, negligence, consumption of illicit drugs, or incivility towards road users. Mohammed gave the warning at a strategic session with commanding officers from across the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory at the FRSC headquarters in Abuja. He noted that reports indicate challenges in enforcement operations arising from patrol misconduct and increasing cases of indiscipline, which have undermined internal administrative control and negatively impacted FRSC's overall performance. Shehu Mohammed urged the commanding officers to utilize the strategic session in conformity with FRSC's commitment to reposition the Corps for more effective traffic management across Nigeria. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, represented by the Permanent Secretary, General Services, Sanisi Danjuma, reiterated the federal government's support to make FRSC perform optimally. The SGF called on officers and men to redouble their efforts to reduce road accidents nationwide. The Anambra State government has sealed Madonna Mercy Maternity and Clinic, Uragu Nnewi North local government area of the state, for operating illegally as well as operating with unqualified medical personnel under a dirty environment. Speaking to newsmen after the exercise, the acting director of Medical Services in the State Ministry of Health, Dr. Ugochukwu Chukwulobelu, cited unhygienic environment as the reason for sealing the facility in order to save lives. He further stated that the Anambra deserve only a safe, professional and people-centered health system. The Delta State government has approved 230 billion naira worth of projects across different sectors in the state. The approvals were disclosed by the State Commissioner for Works, Rural Roads and Public Information, Mr. Charles Anyagu, shortly after the State Executive Council meeting held on Tuesday in Asaba. Anyagu explained that the council approved various projects spanning key sectors, including health, road infrastructure, energy, and riverine development. He said the major approvals were the design and construction of a flyover at Uromi Junction in Abo, a Car South local government area, at a cost of 59.7 billion naira, and the design and construction of another flyover along the Ugeli-Patani East-West Highway at Utowodo Junction, Ugeli, for 39.3 billion naira. Other projects approved at the meeting include the construction of Kolokolo to Tisun Road in Warri North, the payment of retirement and death benefits to staff of the Delta State University, Abraka, and the rehabilitation of Bomadi to Baregolo Road. Also approved were the completion of the Bulu and Giama Road of the Ugeli-Patani Expressway in Patani, and the completion of the Ituru Road in Elume, Sapele local government area, among others. 3 members of the House of Representatives elected on the platform of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) have announced their defection to the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC), further weakening the main opposition party's presence in the lower chamber. The defectors are Tofik Abimbola, Ajilesoro, Ife, Federal Constituency, Osun State, Ominrin Emmanuel Olusanya, Atakumoso, Ilesha, Federal Constituency, Osun State, and Marcus Onobun, Esan Central / Esan West, Igweben, Federal Constituency, Edo State. Onobun, who was the only PDP lawmaker from Edo State in the 10th Assembly, said he was leaving the party due to persistent internal crisis. He added that his decision followed extensive consultations and that he was joining the APC to support Governor Monday Beholo in the development of Edo State. In separate letters read by the Speaker, Abbas Tajuddin, during plenary, Ajilesoro and Olushaya also cited the unresolved crisis within the PDP as their reasons for defection. They said their move to the APC was in support of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda and commitment to national development. In another development, the Senate has officially received 4 lawmakers who had defected from the opposition People's Democratic Party (PDP) to the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC). The defectors include Senator Ekong Samson, Akwa Ibom South, Senator Etim Basi, Akwa Ibom North-East, Senator Francis Fadahunsi, Osun East, and Senator Olubi Fadeyi, Osun Central. With this latest shift, the APC now commands 70 seats in the 10th Senate, up from the 50 seats it held at the commencement of the current assembly in June 2023. Meanwhile, PDP's number has dropped to 28, following a series of defections from not only its ranks, but also from the Labour Party, LP, and the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP. While giving reasons for his defection, Senator Basi cited a fractured PDP and pledged loyalty to the APC's renewed hope and Governor Umo Eno's Arise agenda. To end the Sapientia news at 1 p.m., a recap of the major headlines. The federal government has announced the release of the results of this year's National Common Entrance Examination, NCEE, for admission into the Junior Secondary School or JSS1 of Federal Unity Colleges. Governor Peter Mbah of Enugu State has reshuffled his cabinet and appointed 6 new commissioners. The Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, Malam Shehu Mohammed, has vowed to deal with any officer involved in bribery, corruption, negligence, consumption of illicit drugs, or incivility towards road users. And finally, the Senate has officially received 4 lawmakers who had defected from the opposition People's Democratic Party (PDP) to the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC). That was the Sapientia TV news at 1 p.m. On behalf of the editorial and technical crew, I am Joe Igbo. Good afternoon and thanks for choosing TV Sapientia.